welcome to the One Show with me, Angela Scanlon. And I'm not sure how chatty my co-host is going to be tonight because he thinks people say it best when they say nothing at all. You guessed it, it's Ronan Keating!
I see what you did there. Thank you. The one-liners.
Yeah. Congratulations. Can you believe he's here?
I can't believe I'm here. I know.
48 hours after a brand new baby.
Incredible.
How's
incredible.
everything?
Everything's wonderful. Mama and Baba are healthy and well, thank God. It's been an incredible couple of days. Yeah, it's just been incredible. I cannot believe I'm here, to be honest with you.
Have you got a name yet?
Yes, finally, after a few days, the kids and Storm and I, we had 3 different names. We threw them around and we came up with it, and it's Cooper.
Cooper Keating.
Cooper Keating. Yes.
Oh,
Cooper.
That is lovely.
Cooper.
Look at the little fella there. Well, he must have been a bit scared of you in that moment.
Yeah, that was my first hug. Storm captured that one. Was my first hug.
That is brilliant. Well done and well done, Storm.
Miss them all. They're in the hospital down the road. I'll be there soon. Yes.
Well, we hope you're not too tired to interview tonight's guest, because as a member of one of our most successful boy bands, you've got a lot in common with these guys. They've just announced the mother of all comebacks, and their name is back on everybody's lips.
Bananarama.
Bananarama?
I love me some Bananarama.
He was really saying something. Really saying something.
Cruel, cruel summer.
Cruel, cruel summer.
I just love the fact they had that bit of girl power, and the dance routines were always quite epic. Hey, hey, hey. Robert De Niro's waiting.
Talking Italian.
You got it, baby, she's got it.
I'm your Venus. I'm your fire.
Wow! Hello! Gusto Busto!
Yeah, baby, she's got it. Yeah, baby.
So much
Oh, so good. I'm so excited. Please welcome Karen, Sarah and Siobhan, otherwise known as the brilliant Bananarama. Ladies, you are very, very welcome.
Thank you.
You're back together, you're back on tour. Tell us all about it.
Yes.
Well, I think we've said it many times, but Siobhan, myself and Karen have never toured as the original lineup.
Yes.
She left in 1988, and Karen and I went on a massive world tour in 1989. So, 25 years later, we thought it was about time we...
And did you expect this level of excitement?
No.
Absolutely mad.
To be honest, I wasn't even sure Siobhan would want to do it. So, yeah, I mean, the initial thing was calling Siobhan because it came completely out of the blue for her.
Okay.
And just the shock that
But
she
the
had
level,
to
as you
deal
say,
with.
the level of excitement is just
I mean, people are
overwhelming.
ready and waiting, and excited
Well,
is
it's
an
mostly a
understatement.
sellout, which is extraordinary.
That is amazing.
I know.
That's
Now
really
we're getting
fantastic.
nervous.
But you deserve it. So many
Don't even
great
know what
songs.
we're doing yet.
Yeah, thank you.
So many hits.
You've got it, you've got it. Like riding a bike, I imagine. We're surrounded, of course, by musical talent tonight, as well as Bananarama. We've got live music from the... And you, of course.
Thanks very
The
much.
Cranberries will be closing the show with their classic hit, Linger. Oh, it's one of my favourite
Can't wait for that.
songs.
OK, over its long history, the Dana prison in Shrewsbury has contained some infamous inmates, including Robert Welch, one of the great train robbers.
The prison, which closed 4 years ago, is opening to the public on Monday, but it's already had a visit from one man it couldn't hold.
My name is Walter Groom. I'm a husband, a father and a businessman. 56 years ago, I broke out of prison. This is how I did it. Today I've come back to the Dana prison in Shrewsbury. I'm not proud of why I ended up here. I never wanted a life of crime, but the circumstances I was in led to it. It was all petty crime, breaking into shops and that sort of thing. At the age of 16, I was banged up. After that, I was released, but ended up getting in trouble again. So aged 25, I was sentenced to another 3 years inside. Prison was hard. The discipline was very severe. It was a high security prison. My cell and the area around it became my whole world. Every little thing, from the mat I tripped over every day, to which faces I saw, it can drive you mad. Occasionally, we did relax, and it was when I was stood here playing darts one day that everything changed. One lad was fairly new and wanted out. One of the other guys at the prison thought that if anyone could break out, it was me, because I'd spent 4 years inside already. I knew I'd be out within 2 years anyway, but I liked the challenge of breaking out. Something that popped into my head, that mat I tripped over every day. I knew the manhole underneath that mat had to lead somewhere. Just possibly it could be the iron grid out in the woodyard that I could see for myself. This wasn't a job we can pull off ourselves. We needed cons to keep an eye out for officers and grasses. We went to people we could trust. In exchange for their help, we traded sugar from the bakery and tobacco. But the most important part was getting a look in that manhole. We were able to find something to prise it open with. We got in, scudded along a tiny tunnel and found the one thing that meant this could work: daylight. I knew the tunnel did lead to this grid, but now the hard work began. One of the other lads worked in the mailbag shop, so he could get rope, and we used bucket handles to make a hook. Every night we're going down the manhole with bits we've cobbled together. There were 2 grills and an iron grid. They all had to come off before we could go anywhere. But every time we were down there, even with mates watching out, we risked getting caught. 16 days after the idea came up, we made our bid for freedom. My mate gave a signal to some of the lads to start a ruckus. The 3 of us walked with our rope and hooks under our clothes. My heart was pumping. The tension was high. This was it. With the guards being kept busy behind us, we went down the manhole for what we hoped would be the last time. I knew that getting through the grill was only half the challenge. We ran to the wall and tried throwing the rope over, but no matter what we did, the hook wouldn't catch on the other side. The time was running out. We made a human ladder and climbed up each other. One lad got to the top and threw the rope down for me. The 3rd guy wasn't going to make it. He told us to leave. We knew we'd been discovered, so we jumped 18 feet down and to freedom. We'd done it. After 6 days, we was ratted on and got caught and went back to prison. You might think I failed, but the story doesn't end there. As I said, I never wanted to be involved in crime. After getting out in 1965, something happened to me that changed my life forever. I met Barbara. I knew I wanted to turn my life around because I loved her. It took a long time to tell her about my whole life. What was your thoughts when you really found out that he passed?
I was shocked, but I thought I could change it.
Well, thankfully you did, because I'd still probably be here now if it wasn't for you.
Staying with crime and punishment, this Sunday millions of us will be hoping for some answers when the current series of Line of Duty concludes.
Who is Balaclava Man, for example, and are there rotten apples in AC12? Girls, will you be watching?
Oh, yes,
Absolutely. Beside myself.
It's the lawyer.
No, it's true. We've already had so many discussions over who might have done it.
Who is this?
Or if it's different people or
Colonel
whatever.
Mustard.
Very
The
exciting.
library. Someone we know has been watching and has spent part of his career catching corrupt cops is the former Director of Professional Standards at Scotland Yard, Steve Roberts. Steve, how true to life is AC12?
Well, it's a drama, but they managed to compress all the exciting bits of the things that we used to do into a really short space of time. And it catches the feel of what it's like to go after bent cops.
And is it true that you send undercover cops into other forces to try and find these corrupt?
Oh, yes, sometimes, yes. It's one of the techniques. It's a very difficult technique. It's not quite as easy as they seem to manage it in Line of Duty, I have to say.
But you've been quite impressed by the workings of that particular office and their efficiency.
Oh, those 3 are brilliant. I had 150, 180 officers, including the surveillance team, to accomplish what those guys do in a couple of weeks.
So you need a couple of actors in.
Yeah. Steve, can you give us an idea of some of the cases you investigated?
Well, one of the most interesting and complicated ones was two serving officers in London who set up their own private detective agency and sold services to people who weren't too particular about where the information came from. And they could tap telephones, hack into computers, they could do physical surveillance, and they were selling that sort of information for huge amounts of money.
In the series, there's a sense that the cops who are under investigation are very defensive a lot of the time. Was that true to your experience?
The bent cops hated us.
Okay.
I'm very glad to say. We were trying to put them in prison.
Yeah.
For the vast majority of officers who are perfectly honest, it was rather like when you're driving down the road and you suddenly see there's a police car behind you. Even though you're not doing anything wrong, you sort of straighten up a bit and just...
You do that as well?
Of course I do.
Well, that makes me feel better. That's good news. Good. Yeah. So tell us about the 23P initiative.
Oh, we came to a point where we got lots of officers charged with offences, waiting to go to court, waiting to be dealt with. And unfortunately, the law says that if an officer's suspended on full pay, he's on full pay. And some of these cases can be delayed by a year, 2 years, sometimes even 3 years. And that was a huge waste of public money. So we decided that what we'd try and do was simply invite the officers in and have a chat with them. And I had a particularly stern chief superintendent who was very good at this. And we spent 23p on a second-class stamp for the envelope.
As you do.
And they were invited in with their solicitor if they wanted to, or their police federation rep if they wanted to, and basically told, we don't love you anymore, and here is a letter that you can sign to resign now.
Okay.
Right, wow.
Presumably you had evidence that...
These were people who we were quite sure had done what they were accused of. Right. And an astonishing number of them actually signed the letter there and then went off pay and saved a lot of money for the taxpayers.
Wow, how much? A lot of money. 23p each is quite cheap. Cheap.
There were about a dozen of them in the first year, and that saved the best part of £1 million.
Wow.
But that saving was going on and on thereafter.
Wow. Well, as we know, the vast majority of the Met Police are doing a stellar job out there on the streets of London. Absolutely,
Thanks so
honestly.
much, Steve.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you very much. Good on you. Thank you.
Now, our next film may have the power to ignite debate in living rooms across the country.
Yeah, you see, Ricky's been to meet someone who's decided to reinvent fish and chips.
Controversial.
Fish and chips, as British as the mighty cup of tea, and scoffed down by takeaway lovers for years. But recent headlines suggest that our appetite for the good old-fashioned chippy is declining. According to one market research group, total fast food sales are up by 9.2%, whilst our visits to chip shops have fallen by 4.4%. Apparently, our favourite takeaway now is Chinese, closely followed by Indian and pizza, leaving the poor old fish and chips in a lonely fourth place. So what's going on? I'm in Norwich to meet food critic Andy Newman. I've got a bone to pick with you. You once described cod and chips as one of the most boring meals on the planet. What is going on there?
Fish is lovely. I love British fish. We've got some of the best fish in the world. Why do we entomb it in batter and then drown it in oil? Well, I want to taste the fish, not the grease.
I sort of see where you're coming from, but I mean, people come from all over the world. When they come to England, what do they want? They want fish and chips.
Well, the figures suggest perhaps they don't so much anymore, actually, because younger people are deserting our chip shops. So that means, actually, if you're going to serve fish in a way where you can taste the fish. Less greasy, less stodgy.
It seems to me that our traditional chippy could do with a bit of an update. There's a place here in Norwich that's doing just that. But guess what? It's run by an American. Dwayne DiBartolomeo, a marketing professional from Miami, runs the Grosvenor Fish Bar. He's teamed up with Norwich native Christian Motta. Together, they've transformed it from an old-school chippy to a trendy restaurant, complete with modern twists on classic dishes, such as shark bites, 5 quid squid, and even toad in the hole.
I think you have to keep up with the times, and people want different things, you know? So that's why we do offer things like the steamed options.
People want a lighter fish dinner
people don't eat it every single day, you know. I mean, there are a few people who come in during the week and say, I'm coming in with my wife on Saturday. Just pretend like you haven't seen me during the week.
Head chef Christian Motter inherited the chip shop from his dad, but what does he make of the changes?
He thought we were crazy. He just wanted us to put a lick of paint on it, a bit of new lino, and it'd be fine. But now he sees what we've done. He's like, oh yeah, yeah, you were right, you know. So he was really happy.
And here's the ultimate question: when he comes in, what does he order?
He just orders traditional fish and chips.
He's not been converted.
No.
He's convinced, but he's not converted.
Yeah, exactly.
You've done a few twists.
We have, yeah. We've tried to make it a little bit more exciting, using the traditional fish in a fun way. One of our best sellers is a bass with sass.
Would you show me how to make it?
Yeah, sure. I'll make you one.
So I grab myself a wrap and I get some really nice salad leaves. So you put a few layers of those down. And then you grab your fish, make sure it's nice and crispy. Then I put on the salsa, like so. There's one of our bass with sass.
That's beautiful, isn't it? I'm going to have a bash. Well, I'm sold, but what about anti-batter Andy?
This is modern fish and chips, and it's way better than your standard cotton chips. But I still don't see that it needs to be in batter and deep fried.
So, Andy's still a sceptic, but I want to hear what the locals think. So let's take these to the streets and see if trendy is going to overtake the traditional.
Sea bass and salsa. What's not to like?
I like that. Better than mushy peas. Any day.
Yeah, I'm more likely to get this than I am just normal fish and chips.
I think it's a seriously delicious bite. Yeah, thanks a lot.
I think you don't feel as guilty eating it as well. When you think about takeaway, you think like massive, greasy chips, but with this, it's like, there's lettuce. I feel healthy.
So, is the Great British Chippy dead? Well, if you ask me, with a bit of imagination and business know-how, there's life in it yet.
Well, that looks tasty.
I love fish and chips.
Oh, so do I. Now, from one British classic to another, Bananarama are back together.
They sold 40 million records and became the girl group with the most chart singles of all time. Like, huge.
Casual.
Well, no one else has been going as long.
Siobhan, what's the tour going to be like?
So far it's like 16 dates.
Okay.
All theatres around the UK. And it's going to be a band and us. And
a party.
And a big old party, yeah. Yeah, all our old hits, but lots of surprises as well, I think.
Okay. I mean, back in the heyday, you were very, you know, word backwards. And, yes, that too. But you were very much in control of the music, of the look, of the direction of your dance, you know, whereas a lot of manufactured bands are kind of shaped and moulded depending on what's on.
What do you mean?
I didn't say a thing.
Yes,
I didn't say a thing. Is that level of control still very important to you guys?
I just think that came naturally to us. We formed a group and wanted to write our own material, and so there was no other way for us to do it. So that's not changed at all.
Yeah, it was never an option other than to do.
No,
what
we
you
were
wanted
always
to do.
very strong-willed and quite opinionated, which sometimes got termed as awkward. I think just because we were girls.
I love that. I know it happens with lads as well. Don't worry.
Does it?
Yes, it does.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that
Absolutely.
because we always felt like it was us again. I think in the 80s the music business was very different, and it was virtually all men.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm not sure they really understood us because we were quite young and very much knew what we wanted.
Yeah.
Defiant.
I love that word. I think it's a word that should be
Yes.
said. Willful, all good words.
Yes.
Michael.
Now, you know how hard it is being out there on the road again with promo and flying, hotels, touring. You've got kids now.
Yeah.
How are you approaching all of that?
Well, our kids are grown up,
Yeah.
which makes it easier.
Okay.
It just feels like a new lease of life because we've got Siobhan back. We've never done that tour before, so it's really exciting.
So back in that little bubble.
Yeah. It's like going on a school trip.
I've never done it, so really, it's like at last I get to perform all those records that we made.
And we've spent so much of the last couple of weeks just giggling.
But this
when
is
we
the thing,
shouldn't
because
be.
I remember when I got back with the lads, and I hadn't seen them for 5 or 6 years, it was like nothing had changed.
No, that's exactly
same
what it
stupid
is.
jokes,
Yes.
same, like, you know, all
The
of
same
it.
in jokes that
no one else gets. Yeah, right.
It's lovely. And I mean, we saw earlier on people celebrating your music, having real connections with each of the different songs. And there's a lot of real feel-good stuff. Are there any particular tracks that you just can't wait to get into?
I don't know.
God.
It's hard to choose.
Oh, it is hard to choose.
Well, we've still been touring for the last 20 years, so we're kind of used to being on stage a little bit more. But
so there's none that you're tired of yet?
Well, there's always one. There's always one.
I want to know those ones.
We did have a rehearsal and do a live performance for one show recently, and Siobhan was so nervous. She was so nervous that I'd gone through it again and again and again and again in the dressing room with her, and then I went wrong.
Oh,
no. Yes! Which is so typical. And Siobhan was perfect.
And apart from the classics, what about any new music?
Yeah.
We're hoping to go...
A single.
Yeah, we're hoping.
With the tour.
So you're writing at the
Well,
moment?
we haven't got
We will
plans
be.
to do an album because we haven't left ourselves enough time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That'll come. That'll follow. Well, that's what you're doing now. Let's have a little bit of a reminisce back to 1984 when you did the Band-Aid single.
Oh,
I mean,
my God.
yes.
what was that day like? Just such an iconic image now when you look back.
Well, we kind of shared a office with Bob Geldof, so he just phoned up our manager and said, come down to the studio. So we just
On Sunday morning.
Yeah, we rolled up after a night out.
We'd had a heavy night out.
Can you tell?
And then suddenly you're sandwiched between Sting and Bono, and you'll...
Oh, stop
you'll be asked
dropping
to say,
names. It's shocking.
Just because you weren't there.
We were the only girls apart from Jodie from Shalimar.
Yeah.
Which I find
Absolutely
extraordinary
brilliant.
when it was such a sort of big gathering, but we just didn't know there were going to be cameras or anything.
Well,
It was a
you
brilliant
looked
atmosphere.
fabulous.
You look
Yeah.
fab.
Bananarama's UK tour starts the 12th of November.
I'm going.
Good.
I'll be there. Can't wait. As we mentioned earlier, we're doubly blessed with musical talent, as shortly the Cranberries will be performing Linger as you've never heard it before.
First, Miranda's given us the chance to swim with seals, and you don't even have to get wet.
Prepare yourself for a one-show first. Imagine a piece of technology that could transport you to another world. Surround you with nature, all from the comfort of your living room. Well, this is it. It's a 360-degree camera, and it films in front and behind, side to side, above and below, all at the same time. It uses 6 individual cameras mounted together, each protected by a watertight Perspex dome. But to enjoy the results from this camera requires more than a TV. For the full immersive viewing experience, you need a set of these. I put them on. What I'm seeing is just incredible. I'm using a smartphone clipped into a headset. This is a 360 film made for Planet Earth 2 in the Galapagos. And you can look at the image in any direction. It's as if I'm using the camera myself, I'm turning the camera myself. We're going to make our very own one-show 360-degree film right here in Blighty. For this challenge, I'm heading to the Farne Isles off the coast of Northumberland, home to over 4,000 grey seals. The quarter-ton females are having their pups, so there should be a lot of seals and plenty of activity. My guide is seal expert Ben Burville. This is my new shiny bit of kit. What do you think the seals are going to make of this?
They're such different characters. Some are really bold and inquisitive, some are very shy and very wary. So it depends what seals we meet today, underwater.
Stay close. We need a stable footing for the camera, shallow enough so there's light to film, but deep enough for the seals to feel comfortable. You like a challenge, don't we, on the one show?
This is a very good spot.
And the water seems to be clearing. Now we just have to wait and hope the seals come to check us out.
Here, look, look, look.
Lovely, look at it coming round, wow! The seal's strategy is to approach from behind so we can't see them. But the 360-degree camera should capture everything. Right behind you. It loves your fins. Everywhere you turn there are seals. This is absolutely magnificent. These shots are from our conventional underwater camera, but we still managed to capture some incredible seal behaviour. Now it's time to head to the surface to see what our 360-degree camera has captured. Footage from all 6 cameras has been digitally knitted together by our 360 specialist, Joe. How you doing?
Hiya.
All ready to go? I'm using a special headset so you can see what I'm seeing. Wow, look at that. Immediately, it feels like a very different experience from viewing standard footage. You can almost feel the weight of the sea sort of weighing down on you. It's just like being there, but not being cold and not being wet. The seal over there, look. And oh, look, there's a seal right down there. There's no hiding from a 360-degree camera.
That seal film is available via the One Show website.
Thank you to Ronan and Bananarama. Woody Harrelson is here on Monday.
Now, with Linger, from their new album, Something Else, out today, it's the Cranberries.
Thank you.
Up next on